Welcome back to Rodecast, guys. Hope you're doing well out there. I'm your host, Rod, as always. And in this video, we're going to be looking at another ICE arrest in Chicago. As I mentioned in my last video, they're doing it everywhere, literally almost every single block. You'll find ICE agents at this point. They are swarming that entire city and other parts of Illinois as well. But in this video, we're going to be looking at one of the usual segments here from ABC 7 Chicago, where they're whining about some taco eating Juan getting arrested. And specifically, we're going to be looking at a immigration judge who I told you guys about 2 months ago. I did a video covering this particular judge, Judge Payton, who was laid off by the Justice Department, by Pam Bondi's office, and she was whining and crying about it and saying that it's unfair and illegal. It is none of those things. These immigration judges work for the Justice Department and they can be fired at their pleasure. They're not really judges. They're civil servants working for the executive branch, and if your boss is not happy with you, you can be fired. Okay, they are not constitutionally appointed positions. They work purely for the Justice Department. The Justice Department and the AG, who's the head of the Justice Department, has 100% discretion to fire these judges anytime they want. And they set their own standards for immigration judges. So this woman here has no legal claims whatsoever, and she should know that being a judge, but she's pretending, or she pretended in that video, that she had some claim. And if you want to see that video, you can go to my channel. I explained that 2 months ago, what happened with their cases. And if you missed that, go check it out. But that judge is making an appearance. Now, guess what she's doing? She is now representing illegal aliens, trying to protect them. She's basically making money off these illegals, offering them false hope, because 99.9% of the time, all these people who were arrested by ICE, they're going to be deported. Okay, eventually. They're going to get their court hearing in immigration court, then they're going to be going back to where they came from. So she's back to doing what she wanted to do. This is what she should have done from the beginning, make money off illegals. All she wants to do is let third worlders into our country. Well, you can do that. Go work for an NGO, Don't try to pretend like you're a fair-minded person, because you're not. You just want to let third worlders take over our country. Well, you can't do that. You shouldn't be doing that in a government position, because most Americans don't want that.
These are the scenes of Operation Midway Blitz, the Department of Homeland Security's enhanced immigration enforcement across the Chicago area. Since it started last month, DHS says hundreds of people have been detained, sparking outrage and fear. Now those detained have an unexpected ally, a former assistant chief immigration judge for Chicago, fired by Trump's DOJ, now representing those the administration hopes to deport.
It felt very unreal.
It was Friday, October 3rd, when Ramiro Cabrera, owner of Cabrera Rental Center, was setting up a tent for a business in Crestwood. In the surveillance footage obtained by the I-Team, you can see a white van pull up, federal agents exit, and in less than 3 minutes, Cabrera and his nephew are gone. His family shocked when they saw this video.
That's my father.
Really? Why were you shocked? Your father is a criminal who broke into George Washington's country, and now we're getting rid of him because we don't want him here. Because he's not related to George Washington or anyone else who built this country. Okay? And he's not supposed to be here. And you, all you anchor babies, and the anchor babies talking right now, they're going to be going back soon too. Wait until the Supreme Court rules against you in the 14th Amendment birthright citizenship case. Okay, that'll be happening next year, and then you're all going to be shipped out of here.
That's my dad. He was at work. It felt very like dehumanizing, seeing the way they just kind of grabbed him. The moment
you don't have the same human rights as you, because you're not the same kind of humans as me, as the Northern Europeans who built this country, or they're black slaves. You're not any of those groups of people. There are two groups of people who belong here, who built this country, and you're not either of them. Get it? The same way that I don't have any rights in China or Japan or in Mexico, because I'm not from any of those countries. My ancestors never built those countries. So I don't have any rights there. And same applies to you. You don't have any, you shouldn't have any rights here. They have some limited rights until we ship them out of here, but you shouldn't have any rights. That's my position. Okay. Because everything has to be based on blood, ethnicity, and history. Okay. Because those things matter. Who built the country matters. The blood of the people who built this country matters. And the left and the right are both trying to pretend that it doesn't. People who say that ethnicity doesn't matter, that origin doesn't matter. National origin does matter, actually. It's the most important thing. That's like saying who built a house doesn't matter. Oh, anybody can go to any house, any piece of real estate, and just stay there. That's the position of the Republicans and the Democrats. They both say this BS about, oh, we don't care where you're from. You can have same equal rights here. Why? Why should people who didn't even build this country had the same rights as me and the other people who built it? Why? Where is this logic coming from? What asshole did you pull that out of?
Put him in a van. We didn't know where he was going.
Cabrera has lived in the U.S.
he's going to be going back to the country your daddy came from. Okay. And until then, he'll be held at an ICE facility. There you go. I can answer all these people's questions. Okay. And reality is they know the answers too. They're just pretending not to know.
The moment they put him in a van, we didn't know where he was going.
Cabrera has lived in the U.S. undocumented for more than 20 years and has 4 American children.
He dropped 4 anchors, been here for 20 plus years. That's breaking the law, for federal law, for 20 years. Okay. And they're miscegenating in the family as well, as you can see. Okay. White people who have no respect for themselves mixing in here. Disgusting.
Fernanda and Mariana. Their father has no criminal record, according to court declarations.
Invading George Washington's country is a crime, actually. It is a crime. So this one here has been committing a federal crime for the last 20 years. So the news just lied and said that he has no criminal record. He does. As soon as you stepped over that border, you're a criminal. And that's the bottom line. Okay, now he's going back to his own country where he has a right to be. Here, he has no rights. There, he has rights because that's his country where he was born.
And he remains in ICE custody.
His absence is definitely felt. He has his specific spot on our couch at home and seeing it empty every night. It's heartbreaking.
But the Cabreras...
Look at the attempts at tear jerking in this video, okay, by this reporter. Look at the expression on this guy's face. He's about to half cry for these criminals. And look at this video they chose to show, okay? A guy hugging a kid. Oh, no, who could be against this? Well, I'm against it because he has no right to hug that kid in this soil, in my soil, okay? He needs to go back to his own country. This is how they try to emotionally manipulate kind white people into letting these people stay here after they broke in and violated our borders.
Heartbreaking.
But the Cabreras had help with experience coming straight from the bench.
We filed a petition in federal court.
Meet Cabrera's attorney, former Assistant Chief Immigration Judge Jennifer Payton.
Oh my God!
The I-Team was there when Payton packed up her office after she was abruptly fired from helping lead Chicago's immigration court this past July. She said,
yeah, because she's an open borders judge who also had some violations in her job. She did things wrong in her job. That's why she was fired. But even if she was fired just for being an open borders progressive, that would be okay too. Okay, because these are essentially political positions. Every administration appoints immigration judges that agree with their immigration ideology. So it's not unfair at all, and it's definitely okay to fire these people for political reasons. And even if the Trump administration fired them for political reasons, that will be justified because they're political positions. It's like the president. The president is by definition political. Almost every single office within the federal government that's chosen by the people is political. All those people, all those places, all those positions are filled by people with certain political ideologies. She wants this country to be a third world hellhole. Okay, that's what she believes. And that's one of the reasons she was fired, let's be honest. And I'm totally okay with that. And that's 100% legal.
No reason was given. Now she's representing the kind of clients she used to rule on.
Do you think the administration is acting with impunity here?
Oh, 100%.
And they have the right to. Okay, that's what Anglo-Saxon trader here won't tell you, Miss Payton. She knows that the government has all the power. The executive branch specifically has the power to fire her. Okay. And they don't have to give a reason.
You know, as an immigration judge, I would hear cases where respondents told me about their government's act with impunity, and now I'm seeing it myself.
Examples.
Look at this. She's basically equating the U.S. government and the legal powers that it has, the executive branch, to a bunch of third world dictators. This is how you know. This is why she should have been fired. This is the kind of self-hating white people we don't need in power. Because they want to turn America into a third world country, and proudly too.
I would hear cases where respondents told me about their government's act with impunity, and now I'm seeing it myself.
Examples of impunity, Payton says, include how the Broadview ICE Processing Center is used. That's where Cabrera was taken and where most, if not all, migrants detained by ICE in the Chicago area pass through.
My client that was taken there told me that they're so overrun with detainees that they're sleeping inside the bathrooms on the floors. They're not offered showers. They're held there for multiple days. People upon people upon people. With no access to counsel.
We just want to go in and look at this facility and see what the condition.
Even if all those things are true, first of all, I don't care. That's all on the people who decide to break in here illegally. Second of all, I don't believe that though it's as bad as they say. Okay. Now, if it is, like I said, sad day. Okay, they should try to improve it as much as they can, and they need to build more facilities. That's the real solution here. Okay, most of that is not unbelievable. They are overcrowded actually because they're arresting a lot of people. So that's not impossible. But the point is, I don't care. Are you expecting me to care for people who had no regard for our immigration policy and broke into our country? And you want us to give them what? Put them up in the Ritz Hotel? No, it's not going to happen. They're detention facilities, not hotel rooms. Okay. And if you want to turn over your house and give them hotel rooms with your money, go ahead, judge. Okay. Or fired judge, I should say. Okay. Go ahead. Nobody's stopping you. You don't expect us to spend millions on these people. Our job is to collect them and then throw them out like garbage that they are.
And they will not let us in.
Lawmakers were recently turned away from the Broadview Center after requesting a tour of the facility.
I've never had this kind of stonewalling by any presidential administration. Something's going on.
You can't go in anytime you want. They get to decide when you come in. Okay. Despite the lies that have been spread by the Democrats, they don't have a right to just break into these facilities anytime they want. The ability to review these facilities has to be planned out, and you have to get permission from the facilities. You can't just break into a federal facility just because you're a congressperson. Okay. You can't do that.
That they don't want us to see.
The U.S. Department of Homeland Security did not respond.
Look at this photo op. They went with the crowd and cameras ready to go. This is nothing to do with caring about these illegals, which I'm sure they do in their own way, but they care way more about the political aspect of this and attacking Trump. That's all they're trying to do. And I'm not saying that's some kind of Trump lover. I'm saying that because it's actually true. Okay. Like I always say, I have no specific love for these politicians. Trump is doing some things. I agree with him on immigration. I give him credit for that, but I'm not in love with any president. I'm not a political person at all.
Questions about lawmakers being denied access to the Broadview facility, a spokesperson rejected claims of subprime conditions, telling the I-Team, quote, ICE has higher detention standards.
If they wanted prime real estate, they should have stayed in their own country. Because in America, after we arrest your criminal assets, we're not going to give you prime real estate and prime holdings to live in, like we owe you something. You're just there until we can deport your asses back to your own country. Okay, get that through your heads. They're not special. They're criminal scum who broke into our country.
Of subprime conditions, telling the I-Team, quote, ICE has higher detention standards than most U.S. prisons that hold actual U.S. citizens. All detainees are provided with proper meals, medical treatment, and have opportunities to communicate with lawyers and their family members. In court filings tied to Cabrera's case, Payton writes, quote, Broadview is a black hole. When my clients are there, I am unable to speak to them or contact them.
And ICE officers, I've said, can I visit? No, you can't. Can I make phone calls in? No, you can't.
We got one phone call for about maybe 1 minute just saying where he was. And just his voice was just so shaken.
Cabrera was eventually transferred to an ICE detention facility in Indiana. Later this week, Payton will argue before a federal judge that Cabrera's detention was an unlawful violation of due process and an incorrect interpretation of immigration law. The government...
Yeah, no, except that this judge here, she's only interpreting her feelings for these illegals. The ICE agents, they followed the law, which is that this guy is an illegal invader into our land, and we're going to throw him out like the criminal that he is. Okay, the invader that he is. Judge Payton here is just taking money from these illegals and their families. All these cases are going to crash and burn at the immigration courts. Okay, and even a federal judge, they have no right to tell the administration what to do. They can only rule on constitutional violations, which there are none, by the way. It is 100% the ability of Homeland Security and ICE to oversee immigration law and how it's applied. Okay, that's what the executive branch does. Congress makes the law. If you have all these people who have problems with the immigration law, they need to go to Congress and tell them to change it. Instead, they're whining to federal judges, hoping that these judges will violate their oath and go against the Constitution and try to tell the federal government, the administration, and ICE what to do. And they all end up getting overturned at the appeals courts or the Supreme Court. Okay, all these lower level judges, these federal judges, have tried to stop the administration. They've lost every single time because the administration, the Constitution, and the founding fathers gave, and the Federalist Papers gave administration of foreign policy to the executive branch, which includes immigration, by the way. That's foreigners coming into our country. Okay, so that's not up to the judges to determine. It's up to Homeland Security specifically to make those decisions. And that's what's happening. And they don't like it. That's fine. You can not like it, but you cannot win these cases. All Judge Payton here is doing is taking money from these illegals and their families and making herself rich. That's all that's happening here. Okay. And it's a good racket. You know, if you want to do that, that's legal. Go ahead. These illegals need lawyers. So they've got one, a dummy who's going to lose it in federal court, by the way.
correct interpretation of immigration law. The government plans to contest that. His daughter Mariana remains...
And the government's going to win because they're the ones who determine immigration policy, not Judge Payton. Fire to Judge Payton.
Hopeful her father will be home to see his grandchildren.
I have 2 kiddos with another one on the way. It's been heartbreaking for the oldest is 3, and for us to go to Abuelo's house and to not...
Yeah, you can go to Abuelo's house when he's back in his own country. No, you have no right to be in Chicago. You have no right to be in this land. You are an invader. Okay, and your anchorite baby asses are going to be going back to the same country your daddy came from, and he's going to be deported. Judge Payton's going to take all your money, and you're still going to lose in immigration court. That's what's going to happen. Or in federal court, excuse me. They already lost in immigration court. I believe he has a deportation order. If he doesn't, it doesn't matter. He came here illegally, he's gone. Okay, 99.9% of the time, people who broke in here illegally are gone. He did not file for asylum. He's not even an asylum seeker, but most of those are denied as well. 9 out of 10 asylum cases are denied. Okay, that's another fact that the left lies about. But even if it's an asylum seeker, they're still going to lose. This guy's nothing. He's just an illegal who decided to stay here and start a business as well, by the way. And he's going to lose. He's going to be deported. So you can hope all you want and pray, not going to help. The law is going to come down where it's supposed to come down, which is on the side of American people who don't want these illegals here. And that's the bottom line for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next one.